Alrighty, welcome to the Lord tutorial series. We got the Beast here, the Nord Stage 3, which we use here at Chapel Hill Church. A very robust keyboard. We've already covered in video parts 1 through 4 the organ engine, the piano engine, and the synth engine. And so I'd highly recommend, if you haven't already, to watch those first 4 video parts because they all build off each other. And today we're going to cover part 5, which is putting them all together and kind of setting things up for rehearsal and for Sunday mornings when you're going to play live. And so a little bit thing with the setup here. Highly recommend, if you come in on your own, you could use headphones, and there's a headphones jack, the second jack in the back. I've got it coming through a little sound system here. And then hook up a laptop like I have here, or a phone is fine, as long as you can grab an 1/8" cable and come out of your stereo headphone jack, and then bring it into the back of the Nord here. And that first jack is called the monitor in. And what that allows you to do is to play MP3s or tracks from your device, and it'll come through the Nord and through your headphones or sound system so that you can play along with it and practice. Just a wonderful tool for doing that. And just so you see what it sounds like, here I've got something queued up here. Hit play. And you can play right along, and that's a wonderful way to practice. Now, I'm going to show you how to line things up into live mode. So what you want to do is, if you find that the Nord is in live mode, take it off for a minute, and then starting with M14, I've got all the songs in our repertoire in alphabetical order, starting with All Hail King Jesus. Our first song in the set, and maybe you want to have Planning Center open. And I would also, if you could, have multitracks.com open and queue up the songs in there as well. I kind of toggle back and forth, but you can do it all from Planning Center. So the first song is Freedom. So we're going to find that, and we're going to save it to live slot 1. So to do that, you're going to hit store live 1 and then hit store again. And now Freedom is in slot 1. Take it off live mode. Look at the next song is The Risen King, and find The Risen King here in the Nord. Find that program right there, and we're going to save that into slot 2. So we're going to hit store live 2 and hit store again, and now The Risen King is here in slot 2. Take it off live mode. Now the third song is I Speak Jesus, but we don't have a program made for that yet because it's a new song. So I'm just going to skip that for now and go to the fourth song is Raise a Hallelujah. So we're in program mode, and so we can find it right here. And so we're going to save that to song 4. So do store live 4, hit store again, and now Raise a Hallelujah is in slot 4. Let's go back to 1. So that's our first song, which is the song Freedom. And just kind of get accustomed to how this particular program is laid out. You want to check both panels A and B. There's nothing on B, so we don't need to worry about going to panel B. So stick with panel A. We just have 2 sounds in there, a bright grand and a soft pad. I would kind of listen to each independently, just to really hear what's going on. So we could turn off the synth engine. Now we're left with the bright grand piano on the bright setting, so it's as bright as you can get. it's gonna really cut through the mix and sound really, really good. You can probably hear the delay effect. And so that is mixed in here, attached to this program, and there's reverb as well. So a nice bright piano. Let's listen to the synth. So let's turn off the piano, turn on the synth, and see what's going on there. We have the soft pad 2. What I like about soft pad 2 is it's got a little bit of a push to it. It just sounds so good with the punchy, bright piano. But we're just isolating the synth. Check out the mod wheel. Oh, lots of frequency sweep that is tied to the mod wheel. And together, it's just a magic combination, piano and okay, so that's what we got going on. So now we're gonna come back to Planning Center, or I really like multitracks.com. I just find it easier and quicker. So I've got the song Freedom queued up here. The correct key of G. We can play the original track, or we'll go down to the keys tracks. They're all lumped together here. And we got keys 1, 2, and 3. So we need to decide which keyboard parts are we gonna try to cover live from the Nord, and what keys tracks are we gonna ask the music director to keep in the tracks to play through the tracks. And there's no shortcut to this. You've got to listen to each and every track and kind of go back and forth between listening to the track and going over here to the keyboard and trying to put it all together. So keys 1. Let's see what we got going on. You can scrub to different parts of the song. Just double click. So in keys 1, I hear that nice synth pad that we have here. Okay, so it sounds like we could cover keys 1 pretty nicely. And so we would ask the music director to take out the keys 1 track, and you're gonna play it live. Keys 2. Okay. All right, so it's kind of like an offbeat pulsating synth. And that's just a little bit tricky to try to do that and keep the other things going. And so we're not gonna try to cover keys 2. And so we'd ask the music director to please play keys 2 through the tracks. Then keys 3 is kind of sparse, but let's see what it's doing. Back it up here. Ah, it's just the riff. So what keys 3 does is it duplicates the electric guitar riff, and we can cover that. That's going to sound really good when we join in with the electric guitar on that riff. So, in summary, we are going to play keys 1 and 3, but we're not going to try to cover keys 2. Once you've kind of figured that out, then it's good, I think, to go back to the original track and play from that. I always have my music with me as well. I use an iPad and I use the Music Stand app. And I'm making all kinds of notes on my chord charts, like what the riffs are, where the riffs are, kind of what I'm doing on each part. So make copious notes and you'll have a lot of fun with this. But it does take the preparation to really... First, you have to dissect everything, and then you have to put it all back together. Let's go to our next song, The Risen King. And so, again, I'm going to do it from multitracks.com, but you could do it from Planning Center. Here's The Risen King. Make sure you've got the correct key, the key of G. And let's go down to where the keys tracks are. So we have a piano track this time and 2 keys tracks. So let's listen to the piano and see what's happening there. Okay. So the beginning, it's just some low diamonds. Also go to number 2, because we saved it to live 2. The Risen King is here. Okay. But later in the song, it does a little bit more. All right, so there's the piano part, and so let's look back in here. We got the Grand Imperial. It's on the bright setting. Let's just isolate it for a moment, just to really hone in on what it's like. So we're gonna turn off the synth engine, and there is some delay. We have delay on virtually every song, and I tied to the master clock. I put the tempo right into the master clock. You can check that by holding down the shift button and master clock. You can change it with the program, but 74 is the correct BPM. I'm gonna exit. Okay, so master clock has its tempo set, and I've tied the delay effect to it. You can tie it by holding down the shift button and just rotating the knob a little bit, and then the master clock lights up, and now if you change the tempo, it's going to change the number of subdivisions. But the program's all set up for you, so you can just dig right in. But it's good to isolate the piano so you can kind of hear what the delay is going to be like. Okay, then we're going to look at the keys 1 track, and so go over here and okay, back it up. It's a pulsating thing. It's a pulsating thing. Let's see if we've got that in our synth. So I'll turn that back on. I'm going to isolate our synth for a sec, so I'll turn off the piano. And let's see. Ah, yes. We've got that pulsating synth. And the mod wheel is tied to the amount of tremolo. So this is a different effect. There's also delay. Well, there's delay on the piano, but on the synth, so you can tell it which engine to apply the effect to. So the delay is tied to the piano, and the tremolo effect 1 is tied to the synth. And I've done a wheel morph tied to the amount. And so the higher the wheel goes, the more that pulsating synth comes in with the frequency sweep. So that's good to know. Let's take a listen to keys 2. Okay. All right, so keys 2 is very, what I call ethereal or ambient. And we typically don't try to play those live because they work pretty well at tracks. And so we're not going to try to cover keys 2. So again, that would be a note. As you work with the music director, you want to tell the music director that you're going to cover piano and keys 1, but you're not going to try to cover keys 2, and that should come through on the tracks. So piano and keys 1 is what we got. Now remember, in live mode, any change that you make automatically updates those changes on live mode. So any little tweak with volume or anything else, if you navigate away from it and then you come back, that tweak or change that you just made is automatically saved in there. Like let's say that you turn down the volume of the synth, and now you navigate away to the first song, you come back, that setting is changed or is saved automatically. So let's put that back to the top. So we got piano, and the super saw pad pulsating synth to go along with it. What a winning combination. I love that song. It's so much fun to play. Okay, we're gonna go to Raise a Hallelujah now. So make sure it's in the right key with the rehearsal mix, key of A. Got our original track, go down to where the keys tracks are lumped together. We have a little bit more going on here. We have a piano and 4 keys parts. So let's listen to the piano. Okay. Skip ahead a little bit. Oh. And go to, it's song 4, live 4. So there's a nice kind of build-up and progression with the piano track. It starts kind of with just diamonds. Diamonds are just like half notes or whole notes. And then a little bit later, it's got a little bit more of a riff. And so, again, like on your music, you want to make notes like that, like piano, diamonds, but then when it shifts to the riff, I mean, I might even write the notes on my music. D sharp, A, D sharp, whatever it is. C sharp, D. I'll just write out the notes right there in the music. So that's the piano, keys 1. Let's see what we got. A pulsating thing. Let's kind of see if we've got that in our program here. So there's soft pad. Oh, by the way, on panel B, look, we have more stuff to contend with on panel B. So be aware of that. Let's actually kind of figure out what we do have. On panel A, we've got the Grand Imperial at a mid on the timbre and a soft pad. And we have a split going on. Split is turned on, and the split is here. Let's see what's above the split. Ah. And actually, I think that's a little bit too high. I'm going to make a little tweak here and octave shift that down. There we go. Because I'm in live mode, that change is going to carry over into live mode. I'll try to remember to go back to the original program and maybe save it that way, because I think it's better to have a little bit lower octave available. You still can go very high, okay? And that does have the tremolo effect on the mod wheel. I love working that mod wheel on the song. It just sounds so good. On panel B, we have a Royal Grand, and it's in a brighter timbre. And this is kind of for the chorus. I think we're going to octave shift pad 2 down. So what works well in the chorus is to take out the tremolo effect, which works better during the verses, and do this pad 2 without the tremolo effect, and just punch it with the mod wheel. And so on panel A, we've got the synth with the tremolo effect, and that will cover keys 1. Keys 2, take a quick listen here. Oh, wow. It's a little bit hard to hear. It's very... It's like this stringed instrument with this super heavy effect on it. Kind of sounds warbly, and that would be difficult to play live, so we won't try to cover keys 2. Keys 3, kind of sparse. Okay. So keys 3 kind of does some different things, and it could maybe cover it, but it's fairly ambient in nature, and so I would leave it alone and not try to cover keys 3. How about keys 4? That's interesting. It's a piano. So why they didn't call that piano 2, I have no idea, but we've identified keys 4 is actually a piano part in a little bit higher octave, pulsating on 8th notes. So in the end, we see that we're going to cover piano, keys 1 and keys 4, and not keys 2 or 3. And during the verses, we're going to be on panel A. I raise a hallelujah with everything inside of me. But on the choruses, you punch it with, I'm gonna sing in the middle of the storm, louder and louder, gonna hear my praises roar. And so have fun with that. All right, I think that kind of covers the basics. So what we did in summary is we looked at our song lineup that was coming up to help us prepare and practice. We saved them to live mode by hitting the store button, live, and then the slot we want it, and then store again. Once we've done all that, we just keep it in live mode, and we've got our songs 1, 2, we skipped 3 and 4. And then now, either through Planning Center or multitracks.com, you're going to dissect all the parts. You're going to make good notes in your music, and you're going to figure out what you're going to try to cover on here and what you're not going to try to cover. And again, err on the side of not trying to overdo it, especially if it's your first time playing a song. You might want to stick to the piano part and kind of master that first before you try to cover multiple parts, because it can get pretty complicated, but that's also the magic of it. It gets really fun as well when you get all these. I just enjoy Raise a Hallelujah, our 4th song. I enjoy it so much. Just, starting off with panel A. Oops. Oh, there it is. It's about the split. Raise a hallelujah. It's just you feel like you're really helping the band make some dynamics happen, and the song just it really begins to come to life. And you know, you can go too far with it too. So you want to work with the leader, the music leader, and kind of figure out how aggressive you can be with the mod wheel, and and how aggressive you can be in how many parts you try to cover. All right, I enjoyed that. Hope you did too. And stay tuned for our last part coming soon.